If not, let us start now.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Good morning, all. Welcome. Somebody's mic is. on. Good morning, all. Welcome. I'm Lubna Bombewala. I'm a counselor at IGBC. I would like to welcome you all to the Green Affordable Housing webinar series. The ICI IGBC Indian Green Building Council has been at the forefront of promoting the green building movement in India with a remarkable count of over 13,260 registered projects encompassing an impressive green building area of 11.624 billion square feet. CI-IGBC has made significant strides in this field. As a part of its commitment to fostering sustainable practices, the CI-IGBC introduced 32 rating systems. The Green Affordable Housing is one of the rating systems. To dive deeper into the affordable housing segment, let us first understand the importance of affordable housing in India. With rapid urbanization, growing cities, which provide us with various opportunities, there are fallouts in terms of slums, high prices of land and building materials, which render houses unaffordable for the segment at the bottom of the pyramid. Therefore, the need for adequate housing for the lower income group will substantially increase. The Ministry of Housing and Poverty Alleviation has estimated the housing shortage of about 18.78 million during the 12th five-year plan, over which 95% of its housing shortage is estimated in the economically weaker sections and low-income groups. To address this shortage, intensive efforts are required to substantially increase affordable housing stock. Our esteemed speakers will take us through the current scenario of affordable housing in India, the design approaches, the policies, trends, the rating systems, impacts, and funding and insights of the green affordable housing through case studies. Please join me in welcoming architect Praveen Kumar Soma. He is the principal counselor at CI IGBC and Green Pro. He has over 22 years of experience. His expertise includes architecture, project execution, green buildings, net zero, and green product certification. His notable contributions include the development of IGBC green rating systems, including green homes, new buildings, interiors, resorts, health and well-being, affordable housing, places of worship, and net zero rating system, and many more. Today, he will be covering the topic of green affordable housing in India.
Thank you, Lubna. I think you should unshare the screen, I think.
Yeah, stop share.
Hope my screen is
Yes.
visible. Just confirm me once, then I can go ahead.
Yes, sir, your screen is visible.
Thank you. So good morning to everyone, and especially thank you IGBC for this opportunity, especially presenting on the affordable housing segment, because as you know, we have been promoting affordable housing since 2015. Before that, as you know, we have been experiencing the green homes vertical, which actually talks about all the segments. It can be middle class, luxury class, whatever you know what I'm saying. Then we felt in 2014, 2015, when we are connecting with Ministry of Housing, at the time, we actually felt that need for converting even the lower segment of the pyramid actually, because every person, every occupant should actually live in a green home. That's what we actually dream, as you already know. And to lead this front, I think in the last, I think 15, 16 years, okay, we have been developing the residential portfolios, okay, starting with the green homes in 2007 with pilot and of course version 1, version 2 and version 3 we launched in 2018. Then we also developed a segment for existing societies, which is called as Green Residential Societies, as you know, which is also launched way back in 2016. Similarly, affordable housing, which is completely different ball game together, because the segment itself is different, where we talk about having carpenter of less than 600 square feet. Okay, so that is entirely different front, where we also inspire many like developers from Kuda and Naredco. They're also actually part of this development of rating program actually. We recently, if you see, we also gone to bottom of the pyramid to address the plotted developments, which talks about individual homes, because when you talk about a pyramid, okay, maybe you can say 30-40% maybe luxury segment, then comes around 40-50% maybe affordable housing segment. But still, 20 to 30% of the India still actually has independent houses, especially they built in less than 300 square meters of areas, less than 150 square meters of area. So we address to both segments. We launched IGBC Nest and also IGBC Nest Plus to address these segments with a very simplistic way of implementing green features and also verification of the implemented features actually. Having said that, this movement started in, way back in 2015 with the objective clearly stating that IGBC and Ministry of Housing would create a platform to provide quality of housing, okay, to implement green concepts with including of technologies, optimize of construction and operating costs without compromising the quality, because quality has been the prime factor actually, because when we done a research 2-3 years before we actually launched the affordable housing, we felt that 90 to 90% of the affordable housing which is constructed by so many sectors at the time have been actually not occupied at all. Then we actually seen what is the challenges that they have. Okay, we address the challenges with working with the Minister of Housing, and this particular housing rating program actually addresses in a different way. This rating outlaw not only actually meets the international standards and also the national codes. So whatever the homes which are certified by IGBC have actually met and also exceeded the national codes actually. So if you see the current scenario of the green affordable housing in India, okay, we have close to 218 project registrations, which contributes to close to 145 million square feet. We have 150 plus certified and pre-certified projects in India. That means which is close to 2.5 dwelling units are going green in the affordable housing segment only. If you take overall residential thing, we have close to 25 lakh units going green in India. And in affordable segment only, close to 1 million people are actually staying in the green affordable housing today, as I'm speaking today. And when you see the gap, okay, as per the Ministry of Housing, India needs additional 25 million affordable housing by 2030. That means in next 6 years, we should have at least close to 24 to 25 million affordable housing. That means each year at least we should take an average of maybe 3 to 4 million you should be constructed in India actually. So that is the gap we still have actually in India to meet the population requirements and also the housing requirements of the poor and other areas. When you see the affordable housing, this rating system actually holds good for the metros with area less than 60 square meter. And when we talk about non-metros, this is then relaxed to 90 square meters. Also, since Government of India and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana have actually come out with affordable housing separate exclusive guidelines, and they have given that in case even the area's higher site, if they approve the site plan, even that can be qualified under green affordable housing actually. That means that the site should be qualified for green affordable housing construction. So that also it will. So this scope also should be clear for the participant, because many of the CREDA and Naredco developers still it is not clear actually under which classify we actually certify the green affordable housing ratings. So if you see the incentives, this has been there since 2011 onwards, when Minister of Housing, Minister of Environment and Forest has given a relaxation for what to say, you can say MOA of clearance for all the pre-certified projects in 2011. Then all the state governments actually have extended free FAR. For example, Government of Punjab, Government of Rajasthan has given clear FAR incentives of more from starting 5% to as high as 15% actually. Similarly, West Bengal, then Government of Haryana, Government of Jharkhand, Government of Uttar Pradesh, Government of Andhra Pradesh. Of course, Government of Andhra Pradesh actually talks about only about the premium. They actually waiver with the premium for the registrations. Similarly, we have seen government of Maharashtra, government of Gujarat giving incentives, excluding from Mumbai in case of Maharashtra. Then, of course, Tamil Nadu is giving incentives for the reimbursement of the fees. Then, government of Kerala, similarly, government of Himachal Pradesh also given the incentives for the green residential projects actually in India, which actually raised the bar. And today we are seeing IGBC is over 12.5 billion square feet actually. As I'm speaking, and close to 11,500 projects going green in India, which actually makes India world number 2 in terms of green buildings blueprints. Definitely, when we see 2040, definitely India will be world number 1 actually in terms of green buildings, because we will overtake definitely all the countries in the world, and we will be role model for many countries to look upon also. So when you see why the developers are actually moving towards shifting towards the green affordable housing, okay, one, they see that there's a clear tangible savings of water savings actually. Okay, in the tune of rupees 3,000 rupees per annum, because this is average figure, and this number has been taken with the water tanker cost actually. For example, when they save water through reduce principles like water fixtures, okay, when they save water through recharge harvesting, when they do recycling on the site, okay, definitely the each dwelling unit level, okay, there'll be savings in terms of at least I'm taking 3 months actually, from starting from March, April, May, in the 70% of the India where they are in the crunch of water, they depend on water tankers actually. Okay, when you convert water tankers conversation, each flat or the dwelling unit will save close to 3,000 rupees actually. So that's a very huge amount in, especially in the green affordable housing segment. Similarly, since they have efficient envelope, okay, the heat ingress into the interiors will be lower, and many of the affordable housing segment having considered flash blocks. That means the U value will be much lower actually, as low as close to 1.2 watt per square meter degree Kelvin. Whereas when you compare to the baseline, it is close to 2.5 watt per square meter degree Kelvin. That means when I compare with the brick wall, okay, the affordable housing segment has actually savings in terms of their lighting, because their orientation is proper, so that natural daylighting is actually ingressed into the interiors, so that they can save on the interior lighting savings. Also, definitely, most of the housing today, they require air conditioning. So air conditioning load also decreases through efficient fixtures and appliances also. So even on average, even you take March, April, May, significantly they use air conditioning also. This actually equals to 9 months of the year actually. That means other months it will be lower, but only in the case of March, April, May, significantly India actually Indian cities uses air conditioning. Today, I think, of course, summer, I think even Hyderabad, for example, we consume air conditioning from February onwards because of the climate change. I think normally we only use in April, May, uh, but this time we are using since mid of February actually. That means you can see the impact of energy savings. So even though I taken only 2 months, April, May, but this may be more also. So this is a reduction in the affordable housing segment actually. So when you certify a green home or affordable housing, right, we also have green cover in place actually. That means by default, 15% of the site area is earmarked for the green. Whereas in the affordable housing segment, it is actually advantageous, because many of the projects have been constructed without basements actually. Unlike the green homes where you have 2, 3 basements, right? In affordable segment, as per the government of India's direction, all the homes have been constructed without basements. That means they have land with almost 15 to 20% having green cover, which has been rich tree cover, which actually allows more oxygen percentage. If you see atmosphere, we have only 70% oxygen. Okay, with through trees, there is a enhanced reach of oxygen in the affordable housing homes. Similarly, fresh air. All the affordable housing has got an open requirement more than 8% actually. That means the windows are open 8% in each area, each living space, which actually provides adequate fresh air. And of course, they remove the stale air to have a cross ventilation, also one of the significant factor in the green homes. All the affordable housing has got walking areas, jogging tracks, tot lots for the children has been one of the earmarks in the basic amenities which are essential in the green affordable segment actually. So when you provide all these things tangibly, of course, you can measure the water, energy bill. Of course, what I'm saying, the average, it may be more also in your case, because if you take Delhi and the NCR regions, the cost will be a tanker is very costly. Okay, today, if you go to Bangalore, the tanker cost is almost close to rupees 5,000 for a 10,000 liters tanker. Even that is not available actually, but still, in case you have to buy, Hyderabad is close to 2,500 rupees tanker cost. Okay, maybe depending on the water availability, the cost may be slightly reduced. So whatever I'm showing, it is a lower cost, but it may be higher also. Okay, when you see tangible cost, very clear, energy, water, but intangibly, when you have green cover, when you have daylighting aspects covered, when you have fresh air ventilation provided, there is a direct impact on the occupants actually. Okay, because occupants, why they should occupy the affordable housing? Because earlier when you see in the affordable housing, there is no gap actually between the towers. There is no daylighting, there is no ventilation, there is no standard of construction also actually. But today, if you see, the wellness factor actually increase. The day rating actually brings productivity increase actually, because most of the affordable housing you see, both the male and female, they actually work actually. Okay, that means they also required indoor ambience. They required good health and well-being aspects are covered. Their productivity should be enhanced. The health should be also be factored. So they should also have a hygiene living condition actually. That all taken care of in the affordable housing segment. Also, developers, when you see the construction, they use different technologies actually. So compared to a green home or a normal conventional home, definitely the affordable housing section is the construction is lower by default. Okay. Not only this one, whenever a occupant buys this affordable housing, even their interest rate is lower. Even of course, Government of India, thanks to Government of India, they also given a less interest rate for the affordable segment. And of course, less than rupees 45 lakh has been considered as affordable housing segment. When in case the occupant wants to sell for some other reasons also, there is a high resale value actually. Okay, for your information, some of the affordable housing projects been certified recently. They're actually at par with any of the luxury green homes actually. Even I am surprised when you see some of the affordable housing in Delhi NCR, which is recently certified. The Mahindra Happiness in Chennai, Avadi, which is the first India's first affordable housing. The class itself is different level actually. You cannot actually feel it is affordable housing. Okay, that is what we actually always want. Even Tata Housing at Biosur, they're all raise the bar to next level. What we thought 6-7 years back, how the affordable housing looks like, because at the time the classification is different actually. Okay, so today affordable housing mean with quality of materials that is used, they cannot actually compromise on the strength, the quality. So many parameters have been actually addressed. So today, when you talk about green home, actually indicates equal to happy people actually, because all these aspects covered in the green affordable housing sector. So when you see green affordable housing, what are the key concepts that we actually address, the challenges and the unique aspects? One is, of course, the basic amenities and the public transportation is covered. Why the occupants are not occupying the affordable housing is primarily because they having how the accommodation, I'm sorry, their housing is predominantly very far actually 40-50 kilometers away from their workplace. What they do, obviously, they have to work closer to their they should reside closer to the place of work, right? Which was a very big challenge actually. But today, since many of the developers from Twitter and Naredco actually accepted affordable housing as one of the premium thing to execute it, and that's why I think it is brought to the city levels, non-metros and metros, and this has been addressed in terms of basic amenities and public transportation. Water availability is one of the very severe concern for them. But today, unlike any other green home, even the affordable housing has got a water availability, plenty of water availability is available. They also have they reduce energy, water consumed during construction. They adopt new technologies so that the energy and water is also decreased during the construction time. As you know, we have seen all the workmen during construction, they actually exposed to a lot of hazardous working conditions. But due to the best practices in the green homes sector, okay, this has been completely eliminated actually. That's what they actually see. This is one of the important factor to be addressed in all the green residential projects actually. Of course, they set new benchmarks in terms of hygiene living conditions. Okay, I can see very clear demarcation 7 years, 8 years back when I seen the affordable housing constructed by many of the government sectors at the time, and today how it is built. It is completely changed. The face is changed actually in terms of having segregation of waste at place, dry, wet waste, and other area organic waste, and exhaust systems in the toilets, kitchen. The developer is actually providing in the affordable housing actually. That is one thing completely changing. Even some of the green homes, it is not actually installed. Whereas in affordable housing, the developer actually providing. In one of the home in pyramid housing in Delhi, okay, what I've seen is they have a organic waste converter. They have segregation in place, which are now not even seen in the green homes. Actually, in some of the green homes, they have clear exhaust systems. Okay, with a double height area. Okay, normally we put our organic waste in one corner actually, but affordable housing actually raising the bar to next level. That actually looks like a luxury green home actually for me. Okay, of course, the construction itself is a completely what to say paradigm shift happening. Okay, it is not doesn't look like a normal home actually. It looks like a very luxury home because they use alternative technologies in terms of prefab constructions, monolithic constructions. Okay, thereby the construction time is decreased. Okay. And the man power for coming with the quality, finishing, everything is taken care. Okay, today we are also seeing container homes at a very lesser price, and this is one of the key aspects of the affordable housing rating program actually. So even the World Green Council in the recent publication, I think they also talked about it is not about only going with green affordable housing. There is a shift towards going for green procurement. That means the materials that you choose, they should lower the carbon actually. That means, for example, today we have Green Pro. We have a low carbon steel, low carbon cement, low carbon concrete, because they constitute almost 60 to 70% of the entire embodied energy actually. Okay, when you want to lower the embodied energy by default, okay, we definitely when India talks about 2070 as a net zero, okay, it is a green home or the affordable housing or any other home. Definitely, they should shift towards net zero also. As a first step, they can look at having a green procurement instituted in their own segment. That is, all the developers, when they construct their homes, they should see that in the out of let's assume 20 line items, how many actually fall under the Green Pro certified products, or they have a low carbon, embodied carbon. Okay, they can select today. There is ample choice to select in cement, to select in RMC, to select in glass, to select in tiles, to select in the facade material itself, construction blocks, which actually has got a lower carbon actually. So that actually exactly in line with the world rebase target of by 2030, all the new projects should actually aim for shifting towards the net zero. By 2050, all the existing stock of the building, it can be residential, it can be commercial, should actually shift towards the net zero carbon actually. Okay, that's the world biggest goal vision of the entire other countries, and that's what they're given this framework, which talks about financing, which talks about design planning, supply and manufacturers, building and construction, operation and maintenance should be as low as possible. Redevelopment, repurposing, that means instead of just demolishing, how can you do a sustainable demolition? That means when you demolition also, you pick the materials which can be going to recycling and without depending on the virgin resources. They also talk about the end of the life. Just don't see the material will go to the landfill. How you always look for how can you divert from the landfills? How can you do it? If when you use modal construction, when you use the 3D printing technology, when you use BIM technology, so you can actually reduce the materials by default. First principle is reduce. Then you actually think about whatever construction waste is happening. You try to recycle or reuse in the same project as possible. I identify recyclers. Okay, identify recyclers and send it to all the construction to recycle so that they will not depend on the virgin resources. That is very important to actually make a green planet in the future. Actually, thank you. That's all from my side. Any queries? Any questions? I can take that.
ये देखो चलो आओ ट्रेनिंग करवाता हूँ तुम्हें.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We can take questions from the audience now.
Yes, absolutely.
If you all have any questions.
Let me see any chat box, anything is there. You can also post in chat box.
Yeah, you can also post in the chat box. So we can move ahead to the next speaker.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Our next speaker is Ms.Priyanka Nanda. She's an architect. She has done her master's in project management. She's currently she's the director at Green Solutions. Her role revolves around, managing projects holistically from inception to completion, while also navigating the complexities of business development and strategic decision making. By leveraging her expertise in these areas, she aims to drive sustainable growth, foster innovation, and enhance overall organizational performance. Our topic today is Principles, Design Approach, Policies and Trends of Affordable Housing. Ms.Priyanka, please take it. Priyanka, you're on mute.
You're on mute.
Yeah. So am I audible now?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. So just 200 the rights to share my screen. Lubna, please allow. So
Yes, we can see your screen. Priyanka. Thank you.
okay,
Keep it full screen.
1 minute. So is it fine?
Yes.
Sustainability? Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So first of all, I really appreciate the introduction extended to me, and it fills me with pride and gratitude to be included in this esteemed webinar where I can participate and anticipate the chance to contribute my insights on the topic of affordable housing. So to commence with, let's direct our attention to the origin of this initiative, which is well explained by Praveen as well. So I will just talk about this in short. So the ministry under the Prime Minister Yojana scheme, the Indian government endeavors to provide affordable housing to all the citizens. This was the initiative offers beneficiaries in trust subsidies on the homes. So moreover, the cost of the dwellings is notably lower in comparison to the other housing developments, which is in the same sector or vicinity. So yeah, these sections of society needs to be sustainable as well as to address the environmental challenges and improve quality of the life. In next few slides, we will explore the intersection of these sustainability in affordable housings. First, I just want to address the key principles of the sustainable design. Here, we are focusing first on the side where the local building regulations, we will start with the local building regulations where serve to the guarantee that the building is adhered to the essential statutory codes and effectively governing the development of the built environment, which is leading further towards the site selection, and it also ensures the occupants to have access to the urban development and essential amenities while preventing the development on the unsuitable sites. So thus minimizing the environmental impact associated with the building location. Further, proximity to the public transport, which is again which the sites were encouraged to be placed to the public transport, buses and other railway tracks, railway stations, metros. Now Gurgaon is so here in Haryana and the other metro cities, you can find the sites are well connected to the metro stations, which is again adding a boon to the proximity to public transport. Further is the topsoil preservation. In most of the affordable or green homes rating system, now it is a practice whether it's going for green, but this transformation over the years I've seen, because I'm doing so many projects, if they're going for green or not, now contractor is so conscious about this topsoil preservation. They are well aware, to save the topsoil for the landscape, and really this is really appreciable to see that most of the projects are going with this strategy, whether the project is going for green rating or not. And really, as in a green benchmark, I really feel that revolutionary thing that's happening. So the next is the access to the social infrastructure. In affordable housing ratings, housing societies, there is a part of commercial also. So as per the rules and norms of the government, some percentage of commercial is bound to happen in the same premises, like 4% to 8%. So the social infrastructure in terms of the basic amenities like the shops for the daily needs that is catering the needs of the local people. So yes, I found it a really good, because most in some of the housing rating system you don't find the commercial area because they have only the housing part. But yes, in the affordable housing they are bound to provide some, the developer is bound to provide some sort of commercial out there. So that is a good thing, one, which is providing the daily needs. I think the what you call that, I mean, employment opportunities also these affordable housing sector, and further the green cover on the ground. So yes, this is one constant here. This is one challenge also which I like to discuss on this topic. Being it is a affordable project, so you have a larger building footprint if you compare it with the housing rating system. So, because as per the bylaws or as per the the policy, the building footprints is much higher as you compare it with the housing rating system. So you have a challenge to incorporate the green. You provide the parking also. So there is a challenge, tricky to provide green up to the 30%. But yes, most of the cases which I have, going for pre-certification certificate, I've seen 20% comfortably. But there's a challenge to go for 30 or 25% green on the site practically. So heat island effect here, non-roof and roof. So here is the strategies like the grass pavers, high reflective paints, and shading the footpaths. They are really helping to reduce the local temperature to have the better ambience. Then we have the parking also. Parking as per the norms also, and as per the IGBC benchmark also, most of the projects are fulfilling the requirements by providing the two-wheeler parking facility for the tenements, which is nowadays mandatory also by the government. And then the design for the differently abled, which ensures that the building design caters to differently abled and senior citizens for their well-being. And further, the basic facilities for the construction workforce to enhance the quality of the life for the hygiene of the workers and the construction workforce. It promotes safety and health work conditions. So the challenge under the side which I found is the roof, the landscape I have just mentioned before, plus the roof garden, which is a challenge. If we want to aim for the credits under the affordable housing, under landscape credits, so it's little difficult to get 30%. The other strategy on the build is to have the roof garden. But I found it's a challenge because it's a cost impact. Because initially you have to do a waterproofing better in a way that the roof garden seepage, to avoid the seepage on the roof. So yes, as per the practical projects which I have handled, I have seen over the years that roof garden is a challenge and it is a cost impact. First of all, I just want to mention that there is a cost benchmark which is mentioned by the government of, for Ministry of Housing for the affordable, that builder cannot supersede that cost in terms of selling. There's an X cost which is specified by the government, and he is bound to sell that a unit or a dwelling or a flat in that cost. So builder or any other developer has that challenge to incorporate the green features, to incorporate the basic amenities and better construction in that cost. So these small things add to the cost. But yes, I've over the because I'm handling so many affordable projects, and I've seen over the years that roof garden is a challenge in terms of the waterproofing for affordable and in terms of the cost. So this is one challenge which I've highlighted here in terms of practicality. And further moving towards the energy efficiency. So energy efficiency, under that we have the wall, roof, envelope. With respect to the envelope, if we talk about, IGBC has taken a very well stand and very what do you call that, research in terms of fixing the values, benchmark for the envelope. Because in an affordable housing, you need to have a balance between the cost and the efficiency. So very well defined in IGBC housing rating system. And wall, practically we are going with the AC blocks and Maiwan using 20 to 30% fly ash content in order to have that energy efficient wall. Then in terms of U value, yes, various U values, various glasses in market nowadays with the not very expensive, but in the medium range we get for affordable, meeting the U value and the VLT as per the IGBC benchmark. So as per, no extra impact on the cost in terms of the glass. Then we have that chajjas. We always encourage the architect, and if we are enrolled during the design stage, we always encourage the architect to use chajjas and extended balconies to increase the balconies to have that SHGC as per the benchmark and ensure 80% of the windows have a projection factor over 0.5. Not only to meet the green building norms, but practically also when as a user, I always feel like if I am staying in that affordable housing or we should have balconies. Obviously, we are living in a society, we are living in a climate where the heat is so aggressive. We always look for chajjas, and practically if these things are incorporating during the design stage, it's really wonderful to sustainable architecture. It plays an important role in today's living world. So the next is the energy efficient lighting fixtures to reduce the LPD. Yes, these days we are going ahead with the efficient fixtures, and they are not very cost impactful. So affordable housing are easily incorporating these things. And then we have a solars ke liye we have subsidies by the government, and nowadays for each and every project I'm seeing that we are incorporating for common area lighting to have energy energy savings, and we always try to push developer to use this more and more so that later on they have a benefit of energy savings. Practically also electrical bill can reduce to the maximum. And then we have energy efficient equipments, pumps, motors, efficient motors and pumps to reduce to have better energy efficiency. Then we have the cost constants here. Again, I'm highlighting few things which I figure out, while working on some green affordable projects, that roof insulation is a challenge because of the cost. No, though platinum rating buildings we are trying, and the developer is also keen to put, but some major buildings roof insulation is a challenge, and we are working parallelly on other solutions wherein we can make it like AC blocks we can use as an insulator on the top of the roof to have roof insulation, not exactly with going with XPS and other expensive roof insulations for affordables. Then we have lighting sensors and controllers to minimize excessive energy use. Yeah, here it is a sensor, but cost effective. And strategy which we are opting for the maximum, saving energy efficiency, we are encouraging to use the solar external lights. So, they use the solar light. So the lighting sensor and controls, automatically your bill gets, lower, energy efficiency is there. So cost effective also. So yes, and the solar water heating system, yes, it is very, it is also impacting the cost. So this is also a challenging in terms of the sustainable design under this energy category. Next, we have the water conservation. Here we have mentioned the low flow fixtures. Yes, the projects which going for green, they are adopting the low flow fixtures. Then rainwater harvesting is being done for the entire site, 100%. Then we are going with the drought tolerant landscaping, and the projects are going, they are putting the effort to have that local trees these days, local fruits. We also encourage to use that so that people can have the, whether it's a home or it's a requirement or not, we always try to convince the developer or the builder to go with the fruit trees, local fruit trees, to have that ambience with good foliage, and plus it give it's local maintenance, water, everything they can save on. Then we have efficient irrigation systems in place, like central shut-off wall. We have drip irrigation. Then we have drip irrigation, central shut-off, PRVs and sprinklers in place to save the water. Then recycling, yes, STPs nowadays is a mandatory clause by the government also, whether it's a green or not, but STP should be there. And with going with green, they are, reusing the water for the landscaping and flushing. So yes, recycling and water recycling is an essential part of the project. Repurposing that treated rainwater reuse again. And here is one challenge under the water conservation where I have seen over the years, there's a sub-metering for every unit. It is a complex practice and increased cost also in terms of the water meters, because most of the units, you have three piping system. One goes to the toilet and other. There's no looping system in affordable housing, because you don't have any central point wherein your the water is coming and you have a central point wherein you can meter how much water can be is utilized over the by every unit. So this is a complex practice which I have seen in looping system. The next we have the material conservation, and here separation of household waste. Yes, I have even Praveen also has mentioned that one of our Delhi Gurgaon projects, the organic waste management and separation of household waste. They have done so beautifully and very well organized. I just want to mention one more important thing here, that in affordable housing projects, it is the developer's duty to maintain the site for 5 years. It is well mentioned by the government that developer will maintain the site for 5 years, and thereafter he can outsource to the third party for the resident welfare association. But in order to manage, he really is putting his good efforts. Now I've seen so many projects, segregation and separation and organic waste management is really it's beautifully designed with exhaust systems, well dedicated places. Earlier it was like a small sub place they have given and wahan pe dal diya and something. No, nowadays it's very proper design taken into the consideration initially only, with the proper exhaust system and foul smell, keeping that buffer space in between, creating trees in between to have that, to avoid that foil smell. And yeah, this is one category wherein I think the developers are really putting their effort to maintain and to design well. Then again we have local materials. Yes, now local materials may we are encouraging, and even team contractors are also well prepared to use of the local materials and the certified green products. Then we have appropriated. Yeah, actually there's a benchmark by the government to deliver on time. So my one technology is really preferred for the efficiency and time savings, because if you compare my one to the conventional system, so my one may hot faster, 4 times faster than a conventional system. So my one technology is one which I've seen in mostly 90% of the affordables. They are using the my one technology to save time and efficiency. Then eco-friendly wood-based material also plays an important role in the material conservation. So next is the indoor air quality. Here we have a no smoking zone for all the campuses, and then enhanced daylighting, fresh air ventilation, cross ventilation. It's a design challenge. Again, I want to highlight in the end why it is a design challenge. And then we have exhaust systems in place. Then we have a low VOC material, paints and adhesives, building flush out, and occupant well-being facilities. Like they have a proper Anganwadi and gym places wherein the users can have their small gatherings. So yoga places, then they have an open gym sort of places to have their occupant well-being facilities, which is really adorable to see these practices in affordable housing rating. And the next is the required openable area need to be. This is one thing just want to portray that design challenges, because it's a core, 6 to 8 units per core is usually the design benchmark for the affordable housing. And due to this strategy, the units are placed very closely, and high density of dwelling leads to lack of cross ventilation. Besides, they are very closely packed. So the cross ventilation criteria which I found is difficult and affordable to get. Though in some of the projects we got, but therein we were involved in very early stage, and the site was very huge. That was around 15 acres. So yes, in that area we do get the cross ventilation, but over the years I've seen in small 5 to 6 acre sites, very difficult for the affordable housing sector to get the cross ventilation because of the design strategies which is well defined by the government also. Yeah, ventilation is, I believe that Praveen also explained very well, ventilation is adequate, more than 8% in all the living areas, but cross ventilation is a challenge. Then this is the primary design steps, which the limitations. One second. Yes, as a preliminary design stage, we outline our approach and limitations we may encounter during the design. So these are the focus areas. The number one, the extended sajjas, the extended balconies. Yeah, this is the first priority in passive architecture, which we always believe in reviewing or giving our input to the design team for the affordable housing, and the tower orientation. So doing the sun path analysis for them, and doing the shading analysis before freezing the before freezing the concept. So we are doing these type of analysis for them, and then we are getting the shading analysis, shading for more than 80%. We are getting good ventilation, fresher ventilation, and then less heat gain through orientation, to better orientation in design. Then we have a challenge which we do in design approaches, like balancing fresher with WWR. You know, being in affordable projects, they don't have a big glazing area. There are certain limitations in affordable, but in majorly the fresher ventilation, while ensuring the WWR say below 20%, because the in affordable you must have seen 20 to 25% is the maximum the glazing area, which window area which you get. So balancing between the fresher, the daylighting is a challenge, but it is always recommended to go and check before the design gets freeze. So our approach is the same way. We do these things in the design itself to have the design credits and in place. Then we have the limitations and challenges. Here the building footprint is larger when you compare it with the MIGs and LIGs. So we have a less open area. In that area, it's achieving 20% is challenging, which I have already explained. And with added cost, roof garden is adding cost impact on the roof. So developer is, which I've already explained, that the specific limit they have, but they are putting amenities and construction material within the budget limit. So time frame is set by the government, which is 4 years. I will explain it. From the license to the delivery, it's 4.5 years, which is well explained. Next is the maximizing the green space is a priority. Universal design incorporating these measures, adequate openings for the daylighting and fresh air. Then we are including OWCs and waste area segregation in the initial design. Then further plan non-roof impervious areas with the grass pavers and shading the footpath with green tree cover. Next is showcasing a project. This is a project in Gurugram, and it is awarded the gold rating under IGBC Affordable. You can see that it's a beautiful architecture. They have a central courtyard here. So greenery, most of the windows are facing towards this side, having a flora and fauna and very pleasant view out here. So well ventilated. The green, this sector is also having a green, separate green area. The other side is also having a green area. So, so this is the features which was implemented. There were 12 towers with a 40,000 square meter approximate area. There were 1,400 dwelling units. You can see, because the efficiency of the dwelling units, if you compare it with the green homes, it's comparatively, higher. So the parking spaces was 1,500. In order to suffice the requirement, they are bound to provide more than the dwelling units. So yes, they have provided in 105 for the visitors, and 20% of the plot area was landscaped. 72 landscaped with the native shrubs and trees. Local fruit trees were there. So the project proposes the rainwater harvesting system to handle more than 75%. They have applied the SRI paint on the roof. Then flow fixtures were there. On site, STP was there of 940 KLD to ensure 100% wastewater through STP. Then treated water for flushing, landscape, vehicle washing. Glass was meeting the IGBC benchmarks in terms of the VLT and U value. In addition, they were very well. Fresher ventilation was really adequate.
Priyanka?
Hello?
Yeah, Priyanka, yes.
Am I audible?
Short of time. Yeah. So
Okay, I'll conclude in
the next 5 minutes. Okay, thank you.
Yes. Am I able to share my screen or not now?
Yes, we can see project A brief on the screen.
Yeah. B, this is again a very gold rated project. Here also the green measures are well implemented, and itself Praveen only has visited this site for the audit, and all the measures which was required to achieve the gold rating was implemented here. And the policies and incentives, I'll put it in because of shortage of time. Maharashtra offers additional FSI, Karnataka, which Praveen also mentioned. So Haryana offers additional FAR. So this is the incentive by government to promote affordable housing in a green way. Yes, this is the conclusion to overcome the challenges, ensure an integrated design approach with consistent site supervision, which is really mandatory, and regulatory alignment. So boost awareness of the green technologies and enhance the sustainable building material chains. And our future efforts should aim towards the net zero communities, circular economy adoption, and the climate resilience housing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priyanka.
I hope, yes, any questions if anybody wants to.
Madam, namaste. Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
audible.
please go ahead.
You are mentioned in the Gurgaon project about local material. 95% of the material used local material.
G. Not 95, but in the more, we try, in some of the cases it's 95, and in major of the things it's 75. Because of some steel, and sometimes they are procuring steel from, far off, and sometimes steel from the local Rathi and some local vendors. If they're procuring, then it is 95. But if the steel is coming from far off, then it is 75, more than 75.
But is the mention, what is the parameter for local material? What is the radius of the it is
400, sir.
400. It is okay. Okay, anyway,
Yes,
thank you.
it's actually basically steel plays an important role. Practically, I've seen over the years कि steel अगर आपका local है तो you get the credits very easily. मतलब percentile आपको higher मिलता है. So it depends on the project to project कि primary steel, secondary steel projects क्या use कर रहे हैं. So if you're going with recycle, so some all vendors are also there nearby Gurgaon in most in any मतलब देखा है हमने projects में जो 95% भी मिला है. ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं मिला है. But yes.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Due to shortage of time, we'll take the questions after the webinar. I would like to welcome Ms.Ruchi Gandhi. She's a principal analyst with over 15 years of experience with expertise in sustainability, green building consultancy, ESG, GHG, audits, commissioning, construction of green buildings, building operations, guideline development, and active participation in green awareness sessions like green funding, zero waste, sustainability, and affordable segments. She's leading the Savvy Green Sustainability Arms at Savvy Groups. Her topic today is the Green Affordable Housing Rating System Impacts and Green Funding. Ms. Ruchi Gandhi, please take.
Thank you, Lubna, for the introduction, and thank you, Praveen, Meenakshi, and the entire
Yes, sir.
IGBC team for the opportunity. Allow me 1 minute to share my screen. Just a second. Okay. All right. Is my screen is visible?
Yes, if you could just make it full screen. Yes, thank you.
It's full screen. Can you see
Yes.
it now?
Yes, Ruchi, yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. So I'll just start with everybody knows why green building, and I will not spend much time on this, but everybody knows that in COP27, we have taken a pledge of India has to be net zero emission by, 2070. And also in COP27, India has submitted its first long-term strategies for low carbon development. So now, I'll just move into the next slide where we talk about why real estate and especially affordable housing plays a major role in terms of the low carbon emission, reducing energy consumption and water consumption. So as per one of the world survey, it has been proven that real estate sector in terms of whole, in terms of commercial, residential, and residential also involves affordable housing. We consume in water, energy, waste, and GHG emission. You can see the percentage on the screen. In between 30 to 40% of the entire world energy and the water is being used by the real estate developer. So definitely our responsibility is major. And when we make building, of course, we make the building in 2 to 3 years, but the building leaves their footprint at least 70 to 75 years on the earth. So that operation efficiency is extremely important. So when we make a green building, this is a survey done by IGBC and USGBC. And if we just make a building green, if we just design, like Priyanka very well explained about the design criteria, especially about the orientation. So if we just make it green and we implement all the criteria as defined by IGBC or any other guidelines, we can reduce the entire, if you can see the energy graph, the energy consumption can be reduced by from 40 to 25%, water from 25 to 10%. And currently water crisis has taken a leap. There is a lot of discussion in the government is going on towards coming up with a water policy. Also waste is the biggest criteria. So construction waste and also organic and operational waste. So it has also been reduced from 25 to 8%. And the ongoing topic of GHG emission, that is also reduced by 10 to 12% if we just make it green. And India is a developing country, is not a developed country. So in developing country, we all know that there is a 50% construction is yet to happen. And you can see this slide. This has been also developed by GNBP, Global Network also. So over 50%, there is a rapid urbanization is happening, and over 50% of India's population is projected to be urban by 2050. So the survey done by World Urbanization Prospect, and they say that there is 400 million urban dwellers is coming to be, is going to happen in 2050. And out of that, 96 to 99% will be in the affordable segment. If we just see by the numbers in terms of the income, so this is also survey done by Statistica, in which they say if the share of household by gross annual income across India in the financial year it was done in 2021 is 52%. So 52% of the income falls under affordable housing, and they will need a housing to be built and they will need a place to stay. So making it green will have a huge impact on the global resources available today. And now we all know post-COVID, we all have realized that green does not impact only on the energy and water, but it does also have an impact on the social equity, economics, and of course, very well proven in terms of the environment. So how do we define a green affordable housing? So green affordable housing, first, of course, it should have a standard and a quality of housing. Like Priyanka also mentioned, Praveen also mentioned, that amount of a fresh air in the old version, we used to say the house should be with, in Gujarati, we say hawa ujas vadu ghar જોઈએ. So it should be well ventilated also and good amount of a daylight. So where you feel like living, good amount of a green space as well. It should be energy efficient in building design as per the green building bylaws, water conservation, and the most important, cost efficient in maintenance and operation. Because in affordable housing, if we can just make a difference of 0.1 rupees per square feet in the maintenance cost, there is also a huge impact in their regular income and their regular expenses also. So that is a very important factor, which as a developer and as a consultant, we make sure that our in our all project, we give that calculation to the client. And availability of the basic amenities like a yoga room, also small gymnasium, small play area, tot lot area, a small park where people can sit, or a small green area. So that all is required specifically in the affordable housing rather than a luxurious housing. And it should be located into the closed service premises. So these, how do we define as a affordable housing, and how do we define a healthy affordable housing? So of course, physical health is important. Psychological health is also important. Social health nowadays, and of course, resilient against the climate change. where it should be proofed, earthquake proof design, and all the structural elements should also be integrated within the design as well. Now now as a developer and also as a consultant, there are some key challenges which we face while we try and convince our buyers as well as a consultant to our client for a green affordable housing. So first point is, of course, there is a lack of awareness. And so what we have established that how do we overcome these challenges? Because we are a developer, we have our own live case study where we can show them in terms of the figures also that green does not increase the cost and what is the benefit. We have a feedback from our client also, and we do a lot of awareness session with the house, with the occupants as well, and also from the buyer. So a lot of awareness sessions. So if we have any channel partner meeting or any kind of a marketing meeting, the green and the sustainable features within that affordable housing, it is our first slide what we talk about. So lack of awareness is a challenge, but we have, we all have a awareness session can be the solution for it. Of course, there is a lot of flawed knowledge in the market that green really increase the cost. So green, if you really plan it, like Priyanka also explained, that if you plan it, plan the orientation and window to wall ratio from the starting of the project and incorporate all the elements from the starting of the project, then it does not increase the cost. And nowadays, everyone knows that fly ash bricks is even cheaper than a red bricks. Why? Because the demand of fly ash brick, the demand of green is increasing. Now the Green Pro material you get at the same cost value, the same cost you get the non-Green Pro material. So, and also in commercial building, double glazed glass, earlier we had to get it from outside of the India, but now it is manufactured in India and we get at the lower price also. So green building does not increase the cost, but it gives a better life to the occupants. And there is a low demand for the green, especially in the affordable segment. So as a developer, what we believe that we have to deliver a good project, deliver a green affordable project, and then let them live in that project to understand and to increase the demand. It will happen from word of mouth. And the another challenge what we feel is, like we talk a lot about STP, different pumps, motor, or maybe if air conditioning is required, then different kind of technology. Very good technology is available in the market, but the rate of the technology is currently not affordable for the affordable segment. So there is one gap what we see. And another, the maintenance and operations. So if we install and high-end STP, so of course their operation and maintenance, the agency. So to upkeep all this till developer is maintaining for 4 to 5 years, the maintenance and operation is not a challenge. But as soon as we hand over to the society, so the agency who can actually maintain and operate the green building or a green affordable building, that skill or that level of expertise is still very less available in the market. So that is a key challenge is what we feel is to be addressed for the affordable housing segment. In the green affordable housing, key measures, I will not spend much time on the design, but the key measures we first see building orientation. Window to wall ratio is extremely important because there is also extreme heat and extreme cold. What both we feel, especially we come from a Gujarat region, so extreme heat is a problem with us. So window to wall ratio, we need a fresh air, but we don't need so much heat also. So controlled window to wall ratio is the key because the room size is also small. So control window to wall ratio and planning the orientation in the right direction, that's a first important aspect of any of the affordable housing design. Another is energy efficiency. So using an energy efficient ceiling fan, energy saving light bulbs, and also planning the entire building envelope in such a way that it reduces the heat gain as an overall into the building. Then having a green area. So parking is one of the thing, and having at least 15 to 20% of the green area. That should be consideration in the design. Or we can also have a small vertical landscape, or if you have a podium area, there also you can have a landscape. So these all are the key measures which we take, and we also suggest to plan on hand before you conceptualize any affordable housing project. This is also survey done by IFC Awas Market, where they say that the earlier measure, which I have explained in earlier slide, like a fly ash break, low flow faucet, single flush for a water closet, energy efficient ceiling fan, external shading device, low flow shower heads are also available now, tinted glazing, solar water heater, and also solar rooftop. Then your overall monthly saving in the utility bills in different region, it must vary, but it varies in between 30 to 40% if you just implement these simple measures into the design. So let us talk about our own experience. So as a Savvy Green, as a consultant and as a developer also, we have been working with few our project and few clients projects. So Savvy Strata is being our own project, and I'll explain that case study in our next slide. So what we have seen very common, because land price for the developer is also a challenge when you are making an affordable housing. So what we have seen in all this 5 scheme, all the areas, like it is all in Gujarat. So Makarba, Sanand, Ognash, Bhopal. So all the areas are kind of a developing area. It's not in the developed area. It's in a developing area and little outskirt of Ahmedabad, where you can have where you can buy the land at a lower price. But since you get all the amenities, because it's an affordable housing segment. So as a Savvy, what our tagline is that building sustainable now is getting affordable. It is not expensive to build a sustainable, especially in the affordable segment. So these are some of the facts and figures from our own case study. So in 2018 and 19, we have come up with Savvy Strata, which is IGBC Platinum Certified Affordable Housing. And we have our own conventional building at affordable housing also, and the cost what we have compared is from the conventional building. So currently in Gujarat, we understand the cost of construction for the affordable housing in 2018-19 was around 1300 rupees per square feet, and when we made a Savvy Strata building, which is around 2 lakh square feet, our construction cost increase of around 8 to 9 rupees per square feet, which is in the percentage, if you calculate, it is not more than 0.64% difference in the overall cost. And also we have taken a benefit of 5% rate reduction into the chargeable FSI, which is also come out of to be 2,50,000. And also Sunlife has also given us incentive in terms of the construction loan and the client's loan. So in the overall scenario, if you see, there is no additional cost what we have paid in. This scenario is also in 2018-19. Now in current scenario, we are working with 2 projects of NB Group, which is called NB Uppam and NB Sarvam, where the construction cost is 1500 square feet, 1500 rupees per square feet. And currently it is pre-certified under gold rating by IGBC. And as per our current analysis, the construction cost additional is 0%. There are multiple reasons. If you see the current GDCR or the government bylaws, they have also mandated in 20,000, if you have a size of 20,000 square meter or more, waste management, rainwater harvesting, STP, even some amount of solar, LED lightings. It has also become mandatory by the government. And this all features, they are anyway doing it, but just to plan it the right way and make it in a greener way, that is one thing which green consultant can step in and help them to do and implement. So so Savvy Strata is our project, as I mentioned earlier. It is 1 and 2 BHK studio living. It has around 300 apartments, and the location, as I mentioned, is in a developing area of Ahmedabad, and built up area is around 2 lakh square feet. So one unique thing in this project is, if you can see, we have 1 basement, parking, one ground level parking, and also we have one podium parking. So each and every dwelling unit has a car parking, as well as they will have a two-wheeler parking as well. As you can see in this picture, on the podium level, we have a parking as well. We have a small gymnasium as well. And it is open from 4 of the side to have the maximum fresh air in the daylight. So there we have a small open gymnasium as well. We have a yoga room. We have a carom and chess board as well. And we have a small community hall over there also. And you can see on the north side that all at all floors we have all the passage area have a good amount of a vertical opening. So the passage area throughout for 1 BHK and 2 BHK is connected, and they have a cross ventilation in the entire passage area. And also at the 4th and 8th floor, we have try to come up with a viewing gallery as per the permission we have received for the construction. So we have tried to implement it as many features in the design as we can. And as you can see on the left side, all the windows have a projection factor more than 0.5 to reduce the heat gain into the overall building. And we have the roof insulation as well as China mosaic and white reflective paint on the ground floor as well to reduce the SRI value. And
Ruchi, I can request you to conclude in a couple of minutes.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Yeah.
In the green affordable housing, as we all know that sustainable site, water conservation, energy, material, indoor, environment quality, and innovation in the design are the major criteria. In the savvy strata, I'll just explain you the impact what we have created is 65% reduction in the lighting power density and 12% energy reduction from the base case. We have done 50 kilowatt of solar installed with substitute by renewable energy for the common area load, 30% of water saving just by efficient plumbing fixture. And we are doing 95% of the rainwater harvesting, and the water table test also we have done. 65 KLD of STP, and STP is up and running nowadays, and we are recycling it and using for the landscaping and flushing. Irrigation is completely done by drip irrigation and a sprinkler system. Topsoil is also preserved, and waste management is the major criteria what we do. And 100% of fresh air we get due to ventilation and the plant windows. And daylight is also, we claim that we try to do not 100% but at least 80 to 90% of the daylight spaces we try to create. I'll quickly explain the criteria that we have taken a 15% of a green cover EV charging facility. So we are trying to educate our customer also by putting this kind of signages for the entrance ramp, and all that facility is already there. And China mosaic we have put on the rooftop to reduce the heat gain. For the water, we have rainwater harvesting. We have tap aerators also and low flow fixtures as well. And for the water, we have installed an STP, and common area sub-metering is also installed. For the energy, of course, efficient envelope plays a major role. We have star rated pumps, motor, efficient light, and solar is also installed. So this all pictures are an actual pictures of any affordable housing scheme which we are working. This is one unique thing which I would like to explain, that we have made our own organic waste composter, and that we are using because it's an affordable. So using an electric composter is costly due to the light bill. So we have made our own composter, and it is very efficiently we are using it, and the manure what we generate, we are distributing amongst the tenant at the site only. And they are also participating very well into the activity. If you can see in this slide, so we do this kind of a seminar with our tenant to educate them in terms of the green building, zero waste management. And as you can see on the right side, there are tenant guidelines. So we also circulate every monthly tenant guidelines of what we have done, what is green building, and how can we make it better, and what are the impacts. So they also feel involved into the entire process as well. And this is a summary that we have got a platinum certification with 64 points. And similarly, there is another building like NB. So they have also done all similar features their into their design as well. So also this is our last slide where we want to talk about the green building. If we just make building green and follow IGBC or any guideline or a green criteria, then we are directly, at least allowing 11 SDGs to fall into the place, which is like clean sanitation, clean water, health and well-being, uh, and all others. So this is, and also green affordable housing. There are a lot of funding scheme which I think Praveen has mentioned very well. SBI Bank, HDFC Bank, Sunref, Punjab National Bank, and IFC. So one interesting thing that from foreign, a lot of green funding is coming just for the affordable housing. So there is a lot of scope in the affordable housing, and people see a lot of scope, but every funding is related to the green affordable funding. So there are very minor steps which we have to follow. And if you just follow IGBC guideline, that step will become very easy to follow. And then you'll be able to do a green, affordable and healthy housing as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ruchi. This is a knowledge pack session. I would like to request our next guest, Architect Pavithra Venkatesh. So, Architect Pavithra Venkatesh is the Deputy General Manager Design at Mahindra Lifespace Developers Limited. Sustainability being a core design philosophy for Mahindra Lifespace developers, Pavithra Venkatesh has worked on IGBC Platinum rated green residential projects and infrastructure projects. Being passionate on sustainable development, she went on to become an IGBC AP. Her topic today is Green Affordable Housing Insights through Case Studies. Ms. Pavithra.
Yeah, thank you, Luke.
Welcome. Yeah.
Share my screen. Just let me know if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can see us.
Yeah. First of all, thank you, Praveen, Manisha, Lutna, and IGBC team for giving me an opportunity to present our case studies. And thank you to Priyanka and Ruchi also. Very insightful, and it's good to hear similar voices talking on sustainability. And we are the ones who have to voice it more and often, for it to reach far and wide. Yeah. So I'm going to cover quickly on the impact of sustainable design, what ideation that we follow in terms of what we do in-house to ensure that most of our or almost all our projects are green certified, and life projects of Happiness Avadi, which was also mentioned by Praveen in his earlier slides, what we have done and how we have been able to achieve the first platinum certified under green affordable housing. And Mahindra Happiness, both of them are in Chennai. So I will give live examples and criteria into design and material, what we have done to achieve the platinum certification. So just a thought as to why as designers we need to create a sustainable design. I can definitely say that picture speaks 1,000 words. Nothing to say here, but the impact of real estate that we have is on all parameters, whether you take the air, the water, the energy, the amount of waste that is getting generated, and the big one, which is the climate change. I think all of us are impacted, whether we are designers or not. I think each of us, in our own homes itself, the impact that's happening is huge. And how designers as us, we can, play that important role. So I just want to have few quick, myths that we have on sustainability, typically that we start off, So just some few lines that I've put for ourselves is, sometimes we say sustainability is too difficult to understand, but actually it is very simple. And when you go back to our school, etc., the first thing that our teacher or our parents or our grandmother says, don't take more than what is your share. I mean, that is a simple philosophy if we follow in everything that we do, that itself cut down on many things in terms of what we need to actually provide. Typically when we say sustainability, we think it is only about planet or growing trees or environment, but actually I think even Ruchi covered in a slide, it encompasses the people, profit and planet, all of them together. When we say RRR, typically the thing that comes to our mind is, can we reduce, reuse, and recycle? But some of the things which also is important is, are we recovering what we're using? And more important, are we repairing? Many of times we use and we throw. Can we actually repair and reuse it again? Is something that I think we should follow. Sustainability, of course, it is, a mindset was there. If you say a decade back, saying that it is too expensive, the cost of capital, cost of construction to create a sustainable house is expensive. But now I think it is more important to understand as to why we are doing. It is not for us. It is for saving now and for the future. And definitely, all of us, each of us in this webinar and the participants, each of us can make a difference. And that's where we are here to voice that simple thing that sustainability is for all. So, as we were thinking on the ideation as to what is it that we can, do our design philosophy on, and it's always important to kind of step back if we have to move forward. And the best universal concept that we have is the Pancha Mahabhuta. As we all know, this is the universal concept in which the entire 5 elements of Jal, Vayu, Prithvi, Akash, and Agni has come from. So, if you look at the IGBC criteria also, it is pretty much sums up from this only. I mean, all the modules and credit points that we have is actually coming out of this. And if I have to simply put it, how can we create a thoughtful design? If we're able to merge the functionality of the 5 elements and put an emotional connect through the design principles that we have, I think that's where we'll achieve a holistic living and a holistic housing. And that's important to have a thoughtful design. The important thing is to collaborate between the head and the heart and create that value to the customer through thoughtful designs. And how we can do a quick summary sheet that we have is, for example, with air, the most important is, are you creating the right sizing of windows? Are you allowing a lot of natural ventilation to come in, at the same time cross ventilation wherever possible in the design? If you look at water, whether you're using gray water for flushing and landscaping requirements, are using for irrigation purposes, reducing by using efficient fixtures. These are some of the ideation that we can do. In terms of fire represents Agni. So energy, basically how we can, conserve energy by first is to reduce through climate responsive design, then actually get into the purpose of how we can keep the demand through solar panels and other ideations that we can do in the conservation for energy. On the earth is the material selection. In affordable housing, the most important is the material section, right? From your wall assembly to roof, the doors, windows. It's very, very critical that what we choose is meeting the criteria of the affordable and the green housing parameters. Last but not the least, when we space is space. While most of us as designers, there's a lot of focus on the FSI, on the building, on the saleable area, on the RERA carpet area, etc. But it's also important to actually design the outer space. How much importance are we giving beyond the building footprint and amenities? What is the open spaces we're giving? How much we can give as a green area, which is more effective, more functional. So the idea is to, collaborate the heart and head together to create thoughtful, sustainable designs. So just getting into the couple of examples that I want to reiterate how we have done. So Happiness Avadi is in Chennai. And quick fact file about the project. The project is about 13 acres where we have done 12 towers. These are all still +4 G+3, totaling amount of about 1,260 dwelling units. While the FSI is about 1.5, we have consciously ensured to not go full FSI and actually give more importance to open spaces and the amenity spaces that we wanted to give. And it was launched in 2014. And this is the first project which got platinum certified by IGBC. One of the important point that I want to make sure I mention here is the architect Ashok Lal. I mean, he was the driving force of creating sustainable design for our projects, and under his guidance we have also kind of learned and we have seen how we can implement. So I'll quickly go from the macro to the micro level. What are the design features that we've adopted? In terms of site plan, if you look at it broadly, if you see, most of the buildings are linear buildings which are facing the north-south direction. So if you have the longer axis of the building facing the north and south, that's the most preferred in terms of the orientation, which helps in reducing the heat gain during summer and of course the heat loss during the winter. If you look at the layout, it's a simple design, rectangular design that helps in the MIVEN form works. To have so many repetitions, the more modular the design is, the better. We have a doubly loaded corridors, and the corridors are broken by these, break in the staircase areas to allow the ventilation to come in. At the same time, these blocks also help us in optimizing the shafts, etc. It's a very linear design and helps in breaking the clutter. Having multiple buildings with lesser open spaces, kind of combining buildings together gives a better efficiency in the open spaces. Going to the building assembly, while it is primarily a My1 construction with shear walls. If you see the plan, the ones which are shown in black are the shear walls. However, for the inner and the outer block work, what we've used is the phase 1. 50% of the building we have done it using CLC blocks. So these were actually produced, and that's where the collaboration with the contractor becomes important and ensure that the quality of the product that we get is to the mark. These blocks are lightweight and definitely helps in reducing the loading of the structural assembly itself. So it helps in the faster production, of course, serving the purpose of the sustainable U value that we wanted. Similarly, in the phase 2, we used AAC blocks. We were getting these blocks within a certain radius of 60 kilometers, which helped in being used as a local material. In fact, we got the fly ash that we're using inside the My1 from Ennore Thermal Power Station. On the layout and the unit level, what we have broadly done is, like Ruchi was mentioning and Priyanka was also mentioning, cross ventilation is difficult. And how we have achieved this, what we have done is above the doors also we have put ventilators. So that allows certain amount of cross ventilation into all the rooms, while primarily it is focused on the living and dining. But we have tried to give that in the bedrooms also, and even the main door. In the window section, what we have done is we've given openable doors. So that gives you the 100% opening. And at the same time, we've given a fixed glass below. Of course, a decade back, it was more of a window AC kind of a design. So this was utilized for the window AC accommodation if required by the customer. In terms of the elements that we've used in the facade, is we try to make it prefabricated so that we don't spend too much time on site, and it betters the quality if you're using prefab, in terms of material usage and production, of course, the quality of the product. So in terms of the balcony railing feature that we've adopted here, we've used precast elements. If you look at the building facade also, the U value, definitely the SHGC becomes important. While we've given openable windows, we've also ensured there's enough shading device provided, and we've used a very simple method of doing an MS board and a bison board, MS framework with a bison board to cover that. The window to wall ratio is not more than 15%. And if you look at all the windows that are provided, everything is completely shaded. The extra space that we had given here, if you don't put the outdoor, you can definitely put your blinds. You can use that as a garden space like we've shown here. Even the shafts, everything is covered, at the same time given enough ventilation for it to not have the foul smell and allow the ventilation naturally in the shaft spaces. In the infra part of the services, while Ruchi did explain a very detailed format of doing an in-house organic waste composting, we have done it a more regular manner. We have provided, and one of the main point that I want to mention here is, explaining to the customers how to use it. It's important to segregate and definitely reuse these kind of systems, while bins are being provided, the way it gets utilized, and that behavioral change is where we had to create a lot of awareness amongst our customers. Apart from that, what we have done in the other infra part is providing water meters. While it is not done at the unit level, but at the tower level, it is done exclusive separately for the grey water, separate for domestic and the irrigation purposes. There was a well existing in the premise that we've actually reserved it and taken care to ensure that it is kept as is. Apart from that, we have created the rainwater harvesting pits to ensure that these can be used for irrigation and other purposes. So this is where we are, and basis all of this is how we made our first platinum project in Happiness Tavadi. This is the existing photos that you can see of people and usage of our development. The second project that I want to mention is Happiness at Mahindra University. Mahindra University is an integrated township, and I'm happy and proud to inform you all that we've actually moved from stage 1 gold certification to stage 2 platinum certification. So when the entire ecosystem of the city is green, by default, it becomes easier for us to do the other projects which we do in-house. In fact, the Happiness project is our 6th residential development inside Mahindra University, which is the Happiness of Mahindra University. So this is again a platinum pre-certified building. A quick fact file of the project. This is under a land area of 4.21 acres. It's a fairly squarish kind of a development with 1 and 1.5 BHK. We just have 2 towers, still plus 12 floors. And we've given a small podium to take care of the car park requirement, at the same time ensuring that the top of the podium is used for our amenities and the green areas and the clubhouse that we have. The architects, other consultants are Edifice and Vastic. So primarily we ensure that the consultants that we engage also has the green philosophy, so that the alignment right from the concept to the deliverable is done. Moving from the macro level of the design, if you look at, like I mentioned, it was very squarish project. So doing multiple buildings with smaller pockets was not coming out of the feasible option. So what we've done is we have actually combined the development. So we have like two L-shaped buildings, and the amount of open spaces that you get is humongous. Usually when you see all these affordable projects, you find the next will not be maybe 7 to 10 meters. Here actually you see the open spaces, you have the podium view or the outer view, but not your neighbor view. The central podium is the lung space of our development, where the activities happen, the buzz happens, the amenity spaces, and which is exclusive. It is completely free of all the vehicles. So, the entire podium of 20,000 square feet, it makes it very favorable for the activity zone. The parking is actually tucked below the stilt floor of these towers as well as the podium. So what you see from outside, from the first floor of your development, is completely green, and only the driveways. In terms of segregation also, small things like having two entrances helps in reducing the congestion across the development. At the same time, all around driveway, when you have a lot of driveway, typically bitumen is what is recommended. We have gone ahead and we said we will do pavers, which are SRA-based pavers, which help in reducing the heat mitigation. On the layout level, what we have done is, like I said, it is an L-shaped building. We have created internal cutouts in between to allow for the light and the ventilation to pass through. Each of the wing has a separate core. For example, this part of the wing has two lift staircases. This part of the wing has a separate lift and staircase. At the same time, at the central, we've provided the stretcher lift, which takes care of the movement of material also. So it's again a doubly loaded corridor, and the building blocks with the breakout spaces in between help in the free movement of air. On the unit level, we have done, many of times when you realize, most of the affordable projects do not have a balcony, but especially this project when it was launched post-COVID, one of the most important feedback that we got from the customers is a balcony. Balcony is a semi-open space. Going out was difficult, but actually we created. So even in the smallest of our unit, which is a 1 BHK, we have created a small balcony. Even for the 1.5 BHK, if you see here, we have created these balconies. These balconies and the windows that we provide is like a French window. The amount of expanse that we get, it makes the unit look bigger. At the same time, you get a lot of light and ventilation into the house. We have ensured in terms of planning to have literally like a zero passage. If you see the entire plan, maximum uses of the efficient plan, thereby giving maximum less common area and more efficient spaces. And in terms of cross ventilation, because of this balcony and this opening, the door is not provided to the kitchen. Almost 50% of the living spaces are cross ventilated. And as I said, the plans have been done in such a way that you view the outside. So there is nothing that you look into the house of the next unit user. These are some of the views that we have done. These are the podium views. In terms of apart from the kids play area, I think one more thing we've added to our amenity is the adult gym. Many times it's also important, the fitness. Apart from that indoor gym, we've actually provided outside so that you can enjoy the health in the outer areas that we've provided. Quickly on the sustainable parameters we have done, we have provided a rainwater tank which collects all the roof runoff and then reuse for the irrigation purposes. In terms of the walling assembly, we have used a fly ash brick assembly, and the glass is with the U value of about 2.5 Kelvin, and we've used SRA paint on the roof. So this helps in reducing the amount of heat that mitigates into the top floors especially. In terms of water, we have provided efficient fixtures and completely using non-potable water for flushing and irrigation services by providing dual plumbing system. We've also ensured that the podium is usable with the necessary ramps, and lifts have been provided to ensure that it is a universal design. We've also provided rooftop solar panels for the common area lighting, so that helps in overall energy efficiency for the building. So it's all important. Why we do is for the kind of customer benefit. What's good for us is good for the planet, and that's why it's important to cover all of this, from the parameter of design, material, the design for the amenities, ensuring that it is not only for us, for all citizens, all senior citizens, and definitely helping on the physical and the mental well-being. Last but not the least, Lubna, do I have a couple of minutes? I have a video that we have specially prepared for our customers.
Sure. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So many times what happened for affordable, like you were mentioning that the awareness is very less. So sometimes, we have created a small video which explains what we have done in our affordable section, and that became one of the important thing and easier for the customer to also understand. So just let me know if the video is also audible.
Naya TVS Jupiter
Is the video
125
audible?
Yes, we can
with
see.
smart
Yes.
connect. Oh, here's it. So, Naya TVS Jupiter 125 S60 with smart connect.
Yeah.
You can make
Sustainable
it full screen.
living.
Thank you.
What does it really mean? It is about social progress, positive influences on the environment, and economic development, so that you and your family can live, smile, and prosper. And to truly experience what sustainable living is all about, let's step into a pre-certified Platinum Green residential project. Welcome to Mahindra Happiness, an ecosystem designed to deliver a well-balanced life. Here, every natural resource is put to good use to help reduce, reuse, and recycle. For instance, 100% of the treated water is reused to beautify your world, while ensuring huge savings for you. An efficient renewable energy system ensures that your world remains powered, while being easy on your pocket. Sustainable living extends to the way your home is designed, with smart materials to help bring down the temperature inside your home. While keeping you cool, these features help reduce power consumption and save on electricity bills. The smart materials power your health too, helping you breathe easier and live happier. But that's not all. The fixtures in your home have been designed to save and reuse water. With 50% of the living spaces being cross-ventilated, you'll enjoy living in complete comfort. Besides offering stunning views, the balconies allow for more sunlight and clean air into your home. This thoughtful design extends to the outdoors as well, providing a safe and carefree environment for kids. And for sustainable living to truly become a part of our lives, it needs to exist across the entire ecosystem. One that Mahindra Happiness calls home. Mahindra World City. So, are you ready to welcome sustainable living into your
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was a really beautiful video that explains a lot. We can take some questions. So we can go to the chat box, like just quickly, just see.
Hello.
So yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I have one question. I also live in a community, and off late there is an STP plant here, and it seems the government guys that came back saying that the STP water, whatever is being used, it be considered as a for commercial purpose, and then you have to pay money for it or fine for it. Is that true? It's a community of where 1,800 families live.
Which region is it? This particular
Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
There's it's an 1,800 families community, and just to explain you again, so there is an STP plant which has been there for quite long, and it seems now they're asking to pay a fine or something because the water which is being coming out of the STP is being used, and that is considered as commercial purpose. Maybe if not you, I mean at least IGBC people who are on the call explain.
Praveen sir, can you help us with this?
Yeah, I think I don't think so. We never come across such kind of a thing. Actually, we need to do more. Understanding of this query actually. Because we understand from many of the projects that it is free only, right? STP actually they are underutilizing, especially residential projects. They're underutilizing the water. Okay, whereas commercial projects they're very well utilizing the STP water. Okay, for example, we went to one of the key Reheja projects in Mindspace, where they are actually purchasing the government water at 60 rupees per KL, whereas the treated water which they are getting, okay, they're purchasing at 160 rupees per KL, and the per day limit is 60 KL per day limit, and they have a STP of close to 350 KLD, and they're getting the cost OPEX is just rupees 30 to 35 rupees actually per KL. Okay, that means they're saving rupees 130 rupees KL. So because in commercial buildings they understood the balance. Okay, in residential I don't think so. Still they have any commercial say pricing, especially in Hyderabad. I don't know which house they're talking about.
No, this is more near to the high-tech city only. Praveen, I think if you are close, maybe I can meet you in the CA office there. And if you can help this community resolve this, that would be.
What is the project name?
This is Raintree Park, Malaysian Township.
Malaysian Township, okay.
They are not into green building. Actually, I am trying to.
I know. We know Malaysian Township, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll understand the situation.
So can we connect after this, maybe in your office? You are in Hyderabad?
Sure. Hyderabad only, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. But otherwise, yeah, I think very nice. I think the video is very, very powerful. It connects actually. Mahindra, yeah, that's a great thing. Very happy to see that. And Ruchi ma'am, I think, yeah, your presentation was great. Are these things which are shareable so that we can show to our clients? Because we being a consultant, we want to share these things, good things, and then we can get connected on the new ventures.
Yes, you can get in touch with us. I have added my email ID, and our email ID is in the chat box. You can get in touch with us. With the permission of the speakers, I'll share the documents with you.
Fantastic.
Any other questions, or we'll move to the chat box? Okay, there's one question. It says cost control is a big challenge in affordable housing. How to control it by using precast members? What would be the best solution for affordable housing to control both cost and emission? Pavithra, would you like to answer this?
Yeah. So I think there is a bit of, you have to look at it from the holistic manner of time and cost and quality. I mean, if you become more labor intrinsic, it becomes difficult to kind of deliver the timeline that with which we have to deliver. And I think that is what even Priyanka was mentioning. Timeline has become critical, and we have to deliver within that timeline. So it's important. And like, for example, in Chennai, at least we had these, AAC blocks in this. So we actually didn't go for a complete MIVEN. We went for a hybrid technology where you have the MIVEN walls for the main column shear walls, but the other block work is done from the local. So we have the AAC or the CLC that we made in-house along with the contractor. So if you're able to look at a combination or a hybrid model, I think that will help in the long run. And that's how I think we can mitigate the cost, because the cost is one of the important things whenever we do affordable housing.
Correct. Thank you so much. For analysis of buildings, are we using BIM models? That depends on the developer and their cost constraints. Next question is, what is the monthly maintenance cost as for the dwelling units in this project? That was, I think, for Priyanka. Is Priyanka there?
For 5 years, they don't charge because, as I mentioned, that it is the developer's scope to maintain it. So for 5 years, there is no charge, and especially in Haryana. So after 5 years, they are bound to give jo RW. It depends on the Resident Welfare Association ki kisko allot hota hai. Accordingly, they will charge, but it's not more than 1,000, if 500 to 1,000 rupees per month.
Thank you, Priyanka. There's one question from, yes. Did somebody want to ask?
Yeah, ma'am, can I speak?
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, I've been watching this episode. Maybe I could relate it something to the doctors community where, the previous 70-year back doctor or the elder generation of doctors look at everything in totality. Like now you have these doctors who specialize in small little detail and leave out the actual thing in totality. So this is something which I feel that we have been taught to do in college. But these days, probably these are not taught, and you have to specially join this course of sustainable architecture or something in masters, wherein only then you are allowed to do something like this. But I think this has to come from the first year onwards, where sustainability has to be the only way we go forward.
Definitely, definitely, it has to be a part of the curriculum for all architects and engineers.
Yeah,
Actually, yes.
as I'm mentioning, as is the case with the doctors, you have to go to a multi-speciality or a super speciality hospital, and then they look at only the part where it is affected and not the body as in totality.
Yeah, completely agree. We do need a holistic approach.
Yeah. So I think
And
the lectures that I have heard now seem to be so simple and so what do I say, that it cannot be any other way. That it cannot be any other way. Why should it be as a specialization that sustainability has to be taken up? Why shouldn't it be that is the only way that you have to do?
That is what we all are trying to do actually with the government and with a lot of policy makers, but it will happen slowly and gradually, ma'am.
So my suggestion to IGBC or CII, whoever, is that I think you have to go to colleges. You have to tell the students right from the beginning that this is the only way we can go forward. Otherwise, there is no way that we will survive. That is the only way.
Absolutely, that should be incorporated in the college, and it's a holistic approach will be there to incorporate from the first year of architecture, so that the design basis of design is sustainability is the main aim of designing. So I do agree with that, because nowadays in 5-year course, but you have only one which is elective, which is elective subject. Some students opt sustainability, some don't. So there's a very less scope of sustainability teaching in college nowadays.
It is as if it is like a specialization where, okay, I'm dealing with sustainability. It cannot be like that. It has to be ingrained into every project that is done.
True.
Thank you, Manirmai. We can go to the next question. There is a question from Gopi Chand. How can we balance consumption of air conditioned power with more window openings, as both are vice versa? Praveen sir, can you take this one? I think it's not there. Ms.Ruchi, if you can reply to this question.
I mean, in affordable housing, what we have seen is that there is a less, that is how we create the envelope, that there is a less requirement of the air conditioning. And we also assume that affordability of the air conditioning is also a challenge with affordable housing. But since when we are talking about a high window to wall ratio, so I would like to correct that in affordable housing, what we generally aim is controlled window to wall ratio, not more window to wall ratio. But in case if we have a more window to wall ratio, then there are ways that like you might be knowing, Lubna, we use efficient glass, where we can get a more daylight and where we can control the heat of coming in. So that is one way. And if I can give you our own example as a developer for any residential, non-affordable or a commercial building where we have a good window to wall ratio and a good envelope, and by using an efficient cooling system, we are able to reduce our heat load by 40%. The reduction in the heat load requirement for the cooling by 40%. So that can happen by just using an efficient central air conditioning system and using an efficient glass.
Thank you so much, Ruchi. We'll take one last question. Energy modeling and building simulation is done by using which software? If you all can tell us which software you all are using.
So we are using Design Builder for licensed version of Design Builder for daylighting and energy modeling, and we have been experiencing, a good result and good output out of that software.
But with respect to the affordable rating system, it is not required to go. That's apple to apple in the benchmark comparison. So simulation is not required in affordable housing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think we can conclude for now. Thank you so much, esteemed speakers. Thank you for your contribution. We are really, really, delighted to have you all. The presentations were really insightful, really knowledgeable. Everybody's asking me for the presentation. I'm already getting messages and emails. So thank you so much. And we'll be doing a monthly webinar. So we'll hope to see everyone again. We'll come up with new topics and hope to have a good partnership with you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.